Hello, dear traders around the world. This is Gabriel here. Welcome back to my channel, Forex.Real.Trader coaching sessions. Today, with another educational video and in continuation with our coaching course, this video is about fundamental analysis, what it is, its importance, how we as traders can understand the market behavior through the lens of the fundamental analysis. But don't worry, later on, I will resume the technical analysis and how to integrate it with the fundamental analysis. Please join me on this one. I want first to tell you what the fundamental analysis is, but by showing you a recent trade that I performed. All right. In order to link the technical analysis versus the fundamental analysis, we cannot put one another right away. We need to be coordinated at the moment of trading. Doesn't matter if I am working with my technical analysis, definitively I need to be aware of the fundamental analysis as well. Today we're going to talk about macroeconomic indicators, central bank policies, geopolitical and market and sentiment factors, of course, right? But I'm not going to go in depth, in detail, because I understand it's kind of boring. So let me show you first the trade that I performed few days ago. It was on February 14th, as you can see here, and I traded the news. Let me show you what news it was. You can see here, core retail sales and retail sales. It was US news, 8:30 a.m. local time. As you can see, it was 8:28 on February 14th, right? So that's the indicator there of my trade. So I use later on, I will show you how to use it. Forex.Factory.com. That is my calendar in order to see the important news. I'm going to show you now the setup, right? This is the setup for the news. I traded American dollar versus Japanese yen. So pay attention to this one, okay? This one here. This one is a control trade that I have, right? So do not pay attention to this one. Is this one the one we're going to focus our attention on, right? So as you can see, I already set my trade, and in that moment it was 8:28. This news was at 8:30. Imagine if I didn't know, if I hadn't known about that trade, about that news, and I performed any other trade, or if I had an old trade open, right, before the news, it would have been catastrophic if the trade of the news went against my position. So that is the very first advice. When we trade news, okay, when we trade our trading plan in a normal way, we need to be very careful and aware of the news in the market, right? Because as you can see in less than a minute, the reaction of the market is absolutely volatile and crazy. Look at this. I already have my setup in here on that news. And just wait what is going to happen. Before I continue, I just pause it in here. Look at this little detail about the bid and the ask price. Look how wide, right, it is here on this very pair, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. However, at the same time, you see that the spread here, right, is very tight, right? Is very tight with the Japanese yen and the American dollar. That is another piece of advice. Try to trade news that are with the majors. Okay, you know the majors, GBP versus USD, USD JPY, or Euro USD, things like that. Right. So let's see the behavior of the news. It's around 8:29. When it turns 8:30 on the dot, the behavior is going to be very chaotic. Okay, chaotic in the sense. Look at this. The trade automatically activated, as you can see here, and the news activated my trade. Can you see here? My trade is positive on $30, right? So $30.83 positive here, because when it triggered, right, my entry point, it went this. This is my $30.83. Let's see what happened next. You see, retraced, it retraced. I continue coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down. Look at this. There is a moment in this news that the amount caught is 88.59, right? Very interesting. My entry point and the reaction, the behavior of my trade is now $88.59. Let's see what happened here. Continued, and I close it. I close it around this price here, right? When it came here is the moment when I closed my position with a positive $83, right? So this is the way how you trade fundamental and technical, but we need to know the nuts and bolts to do that, right? So that is the reason for today's video, right? So basically here, the thing is this. What is fundamental analysis? In Forex trading is the method of evaluating currencies by analyzing economic, political, and financial factors that influence their supply and demand. It involves studying macroeconomic indicators, central bank policies, geopolitical events, and market sentiments to determine the intrinsic value of a currency and anticipate potential price movements, right? So as a matter of fact, when we talk about the fundamental analysis of Forex, is because it is based on the premise that a currency's value is a reflection of the economic strength and stability of its issuing country. Somehow you say, okay, but what does it has to do with me? Okay, it has to do with you a lot, because if you trade during the moment of a high impact news and you don't know that you are in the middle of the storm, you can be caught and stopped out, or even worse, your account might be depleted if you don't have stop losses or if it is an irresponsible trade. Unlike technical analysis, which focuses on historical price movements, fundamental analysis seeks to understand the underlying reasons behind currency fluctuations. Okay, some key aspects that we can observe in here have to do with macroeconomic indicators. Those are, and now I'm going to show you the website. Highly recommended, highly recommended. I'm going to leave it in the description of the video. This is the Forex.Factory.com. With this website, you will always be informed about any news, right? So here you can see by next week, okay, all the news that will be generating impact. Here comes the first piece of advice. you have to be careful only with the high impact news, right? Don't you worry about mid or light news. But how do you know what news are high impact? Here with Forex Factory, you will see filters. So here in this area where it reads filter, I just highlight the red ones, these ones in here, high impact, right? And apply the filter. Voila, that's it, right? So now I know that next week, the important news are, example here, I have that on Tuesday we have at 9 a.m., okay, Jolt's job openings, okay? I got in here an indicator, okay, good. Wednesday is awesome, right? Because we have core CPI, CPI monthly, and CPI yearly. Wow. So this is a very interesting news to trade, okay? So you're going to be careful, okay? If you have an ongoing trade, the suggestion is to close it. Don't operate within the time frame of 2 hours before or after this news is going to be released, or at least close your trade 10 minutes, 15 minutes before this news is released. Okay. And the same is going to happen on Wednesday, 8:45. Is a Canadian news. It is a BOC rate statement, overnight rate, BOC press conference, right? But here the important one is this, the overnight rate. Why? Because it gotta hear an indicator. That is the way how we are going to trade the fundamental analysis, okay? I mean, this is in order to be careful. This is a preemptive trading strategy. When you see that a news is coming, you basically don't trade. Or you do what I did. You know exactly the moment of the trade, but you need a special setup. That special setup that you saw here on the video, right? That is basically this thing here, what I did here. Let me rewind it. Okay, here. This is called, and in the course, I will teach you how to do it in safe mode. For example, in here I obtained $83, okay, on the account. I want to clarify, this is a demo account, okay? In the real account, it's gonna be exactly the same behavior. An important thing here, treat the demo accounts as if you were treating a real account. Don't you go there opening demo accounts like crazy people, because psychologically it creates a deficiency in your trading strategies and in your trading behavior, right? So you need to behave the same way in a demo as in a real account, right? So what is the thing here? This is called scalping. Scalping trading, right? Because I was very punctual and very surgical about what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do, and exactly the time I wanted to do. So scalping is very interesting. It's safe, right? It's safe. But of course, you will always have this chance, 50-50, right? So that is the thing. But if you know how to do it, that 50-50, either it is negative or positive, and the end of the game, you will have profit, right? But that is something that later on in the course, we will learn how to do, how to accomplish, okay? So this is the thing in there. So on this website, on Forex Factory, you can also find the different news about central policies, for example, with the banks. For instance, with central banks such as the Federal Reserve or the European Central Bank or the Bank of Japan, BOJ, play a crucial role in setting interest rates and implementing monetary policies that affect currency values. That is the reason because we see those crazy movements or spreads that widen and widen in a very erratic way is because of that. Because central banks or because of geopolitical and market sentiment factors, right, happen in that very moment. Okay. So those are somehow uh, indications that I want to share with you. I don't want to go in detail because honestly, I am very technical in my trading, but I am always very aware of the news. That is my fundamental analysis. But if you want to go in depth, all right, here on the website, you can expand, for example, here, when you click on this folder, you want to know more about the core CPI, right? Okay, so you expand it and you know the source of the information, what it measures, the usual effect, right? And previous behaviors and the forecasts, right? For this news in particular, the next release, when is it gonna be, right? So you have all the fundamental history about the news, okay? But I'm not going to go in depth about that because I insist I'm very technical in my analysis and I'm very technical in my trading. But insist, it's important to be aware of fundamental in order to have a positive impact on your technical analysis. Okay, what are the do's and don'ts about the this trading here? So we can see, for example, that positive things that keep up with economic calendar and news updates in order to know what to do with your real trading. Understand the impact of those reports before they are released. So when you set the news, set the trade, you can have, somehow some information in advance, right? So you know how to trade that particular news. You can, and that is my case, you can combine fundamental and technical analysis for better accuracy. Okay, that is the key point for my trading in combination with fundamental analysis. What are some negative aspects, right? That the movements are very, very crazy. So you never know when you trade, even if you scalp it, you never know what the impact is going to be, right? So for this reason, it's necessary to be very careful before trading, even if we know how to scalp, right? So this is basically the intention, the reason for this video today about fundamental analysis, right? So my people, thank you very much. Just a little reminder, if you find my channel and information that I provide in here as something useful, interesting, and somehow relevant in your learning process, please subscribe, like, and share, because it's important to continue building a well-informed community of retail traders. So see you in the next video. Thank you very much.